Hello everyone, welcome to all in video number 3. Today we are going to discuss how to cure conflicts in team or how to solve conflicts. So let us study some conflict resolution approaches. There are several ways people and teams can try to resolve conflicts. The approaches they take depends on their personalities, their social relationships and particular situation. We can use 5 different approaches to resolve conflicts. First one is avoidance. This approach tries to ignore the issues or denies that there is a problem. By not confronting the conflict, team members hope it will go away by itself. Second, accommodation. Some team members may decide to give up their position in order to agreeable. They are being cooperative, but it costs the team the value of their opinions and ideas. Third, confrontation. Acting aggressively and trying to win is one way to deal with a conflict. However, winning can become more important than making a good decision. Fourth one is compromise. One way in which to balance the goal of each participant and the relations among the team members is for everyone to give in a little. Fifth one is collaboration. When both sides of a conflict have important concern, the team needs to search for solutions that satisfy everyone. This requires both collaborativeness and respect for others' position and personality. Now, we can compare these 5 approaches to conflict resolution. Okay? Although all approaches like avoidance, accommodation, confrontation, compromise, collaboration can be used to resolve conflict, but each approach has some problem. Avoidance, accommodation, and confrontation all may work to resolve the conflict. But these approaches create winners and losers. Teams using these styles often have trouble implementing decisions and find themselves addressing the same issue later. Compromise works somewhat better because everyone wins a little and lose a little. A compromise promotes equity and fairness, but usually does not result in optimal decisions. When possible, teams should use collaborative approach to resolve conflict. In collaboration, team members search for the alternative solution that allows everyone to win. Although finding a collaborative solution may be time consuming and difficult, it has many benefits. Collaboration encourages creativity, leads to greater commitment to decision and improve relationships among the team members. So, team members of work have long term concern about their relationships that go beyond specific situations or conflicts. Teams with shared goals and long term commitments are likely to show more concern for other team members when conflict arises. Conflict arise from different perspective and interest, but the shared goals encourage concern for the perspective of others. This is why team members tend to use collaboration and accommodation when resolving internal conflicts. Although collaboration may be the best approach in the theory, it cannot always be achieved in practice. Occasions arise when different approaches to conflict resolution are best. Take an example in a conflict with an emotionally upset boss. A good short term strategy is to be accommodation. In an emergency situation, people are more likely to accept the confrontation style because they value a quick resolution. Collaboration is the best approach when team members have relatively equal status and there is a time to work for the resolution. Other approaches may be better when there is a large difference in power and quick resolution is needed. Okay, now we move ahead with managing team conflicts. How we can manage conflict in team. Teams can prepare for conflicts by creating an environment that allows for dealing with conflicts without creating emotional and relationship problems. Mediator or facilitators can help team members to manage their conflict by controlling communications and building trust. Managing conflict requires using negotiating tactics and facilitating conflicts. First technique is preparing for conflicts. Teams often try to ignore or avoid conflicts rather than addressing them. This strategy allows the conflict to grow. Sometimes task conflict becomes relationship conflicts, and because of that, they have not been resolved. The negative emotions from this unresolved conflict disturb trust, hurt communication, and make the conflict harder to resolve. Teams should take a more proactive approach to the conflict management by preparing for conflict. Preparing for conflict means developing approaches to identify conflict in early stage and creating an environment that support the constructive controversies so that disagreements can be expressed. Because people try to avoid conflict, problems within the team often go unspoken and unaddressed. Team needs to create communication climate where members are free to feel safe to raise issues and voices of disagreement. Leaders need to facilitate team meetings in a manner that encourage participants for all the members. In addition, a team should regularly conduct group process evolution to help identify what is the problem and how we can resolve it. The most important aspect of preparing for conflict is to create psychologically safe communication environment that allows for constructive controversies to occur. The goal is to make it safe for team members to address task conflict without creating unwanted emotional problems within the team. This requires a sense of trust among the team members that dealing with conflict will not damage their relationships within the team. Psychological safety encourages team to address conflict in collaborative fashion rather than avoid them. It allows dealing with task conflict to have positive impact on team performance without creating relationship conflict that hurt performance of others. Team can engage in other primitive conflict management strategies to help avoid conflict. Conflict management means to develop cooperation, trust, team, identify their situation, their hurdles, and create a norm for communication within a team. This action helps the team to address the conflict effectively without destruction of any team member. Second technique is facilitating conflicts. Successful conflict management requires development of trust among the participants. If team members on one side trust members on the other side and believe everyone wants a fair solution, they are better able to negotiate a solution. Many reduction approaches for designed to build trust among the two parties in conflict. Take an example, if in a study of bargaining through email, allowing participants to engage in a get acquainted telephone calls before the bargaining session increased chances of reaching an agreement by 50%. Outside mediators or facilitators can sometimes be helpful for managing team conflict when the issue have become too emotional. Mediators or facilitators operate by gaining trust among the participants, managing hostilities, developing solutions to conflict, and gaining commitment to solve from participants. They use variety of tactics to do this. Some tactics focus on emotional and relationship aspect of situations, whereas others are oriented more towards problem solving aspects. In highly emotionally charged solutions, direct communication can lead to threat and aggressive language. Mediator help control the communications between people on both sides of conflict to ensure courtesy and respectful communication. They create controlled opportunities for each side to express their views, their opinions, and listen to acknowledge the other side's perspective. This helps reduce the impact of miscommunication and confusion about the other's side position. Mediator search for small areas of agreement in order to build trust and demonstrate that there is a common ground. Third technique is negotiating conflict. Negotiation or bargaining is a process by which two sides engage in a conflict, exchange offers and counter offers in an effort to find mutually acceptable agreement. One of the most important dimension in understanding how negotiation works in conflict resolution is where participants have a win-win or win-lose perspective. A win-lose perspective is based on belief that what is good for one side is incompatible with the what is good for the others. With a win-win perspective, participants believe a solution that satisfies both sides is possible. The goal of managing team conflict is to develop win-win agreements that are beneficial to both sides. Integrative agreement are more rewarding than compromising and improve ongoing relationships among the parties. The key to developing the interrogative agreement are focusing attention on interest rather than position and developing trust and rapport between the conflicted parties. When a team becomes involving in conflict, members often form a collusion on the basis of their position on the conflict rather than confusing or focusing on the issues of interest. They focus on whether other are for against their position. It is found that 50% of people in conflict fail to realize when they have interests completely compatible with each other, and 20% fail to reach agreement even when their interests were compatible. One reason for this failure is that they did not exchange information about their interest and overlooked areas of common interest. So these are the techniques which we can use manage conflict successfully. So in this video we have discussed five conflict resolving approaches like avoidance, accommodation, confrontation, compromise, and collaboration. After that, we have also compared these five conflicts resolving approaches, and lastly, we gone through conflict managing techniques like preparing for conflict, facilitating conflicts, and negotiating with conflicts.